Hello, folks. Welcome once again to KS Customs. I am Richard from KS Collectibles. I am here. Yes. We're attempting to. I'm not starting this intro again.
What's your name?
I'm stumbling all over my words today. I'm here with AJ of
Hi.
Forbidden Panel.
Hi.
Live in studio today.
On location.
On location.
In the studio. We think. We don't know. We'll let you know once Richard figures it out.
It's been a long day already.
Right. It is, 5 o'clock in the afternoon, so I guess it kind of counts. Sure, I've been up since 3. But, for some people, it's been a long day.
Yeah, well, it happens. So today we're going to spend some time talking about SummerSlam. And like I said, there was a bunch of like ending of storylines, the future going on. We saw some big title changes, some good stuff. I mean, I enjoyed the pay-per-view. We can get into it. I guess we kind of actually do have to talk about it because there was actually so many title changes and storylines that went through it. It does need attention. I mean, so the first match on the card was Rhea Ripley returning for her first singles match against Liv Morgan for the women's. Was that the Women's World Championship?
I don't know.
I think that's the Women's World Championship.
I'm going to put this out here real quick. I don't watch WWE.
Right.
I'll watch some of the major pay-per-views, maybe. The last pay-per-view I caught was WrestleMania. So I haven't seen anything or heard of anything until now. And so to me, coming into this, it just felt I wasn't too excited. And I don't know what's happening with the belts or what the belts are called or,
Yeah, the fact there's both company, all companies actually, I think, because even TNA have, and I've said it many times on this, have too many belts.
Right. I understand that there's 3 shows that WWE manages, 4 now if you count TNA, and that there's a woman's title on each of those shows. So I will say that Liv Morgan is very gorgeous, and I will always vote for her.
It was a good match. It was a solid match. It was what I thought it would be. It ended exactly the way I thought. I'm 90% sure everybody thought Dominic Mysterio was going to turn on Rhea Ripley. I mean, it was so predictable, and maybe that's my problem with this SummerSlam. Every surprise that happened was absolutely predictable.
I don't watch WWE, and I knew what was happening.
Yeah, every single one of them. Rhea does look good coming back from that injury. She did sell the shoulder in a couple of different parts, even doing a little homage to her husband with the putting the shoulder back in the socket. So that was cool.
Twice.
Yeah, twice. So that's going to continue the feud. It was like I said, it was a solid match. It was nothing spectacular. It was good. It's good to see Rhea back. The storyline moving forward, I think there's a lot of meat on that bone. Obviously, this is very similar to what happened with how when Eddie turned on China, it's going that route. Everybody's siding with Rhea over Dominic, obviously. So,
and it foreshadowed something that came on later on that night.
Right. The other thing that's a little funny is when Rhea first returned on Raw, since I know you don't watch it, and she interrupted Liv Morgan and Dominic, where they were like face to face. It looked like they were going to kiss. Like everybody was like oohing and awing at first, so everybody took Rhea's side. And then the next week, so right before SummerSlam, Liv was doing the old promo in the stands. Basically telling Dominic to join her, and he rejected her, and she started crying and everything. And people felt sympathetic for Liv. So, honestly, everybody just hates Dominic in this situation.
He is dirty Dominic, and from what I understand, from all the years that he's been wrestling, which hasn't been much, but he's been on there for a bit.
Yeah.
Nobody ever liked Dom. and I never liked him. But
Hey, the kid's he's found his niche. He's doing good.
yeah, I know all the respect in the world to him.
No,
But
he's made like he's become a phenomenal heel. Like he is doing his job. He's meant to be hated, and he is violently hated. Like people do not like bad guys don't get hated that much anymore. There's always that cool bad guy. Somebody always.
Right.
I don't think anybody likes Dominic. So, and it might be the fact that the man lives on nothing but chicken nuggets. So,
him and the scapegoat, man.
no, I think a lot of people like Jack Perry, and I don't know why, but but we'll talk about that later. I mean, we could talk about how blood and guts, but so the next match was what, Braun Breaker and Sami Zayn.
Yeah.
So that was the Intercontinental Championship match, which once again predictable. Braun lost at the last pay-per-view to Sami. Everybody thought Braun has to win the IC title. Like, he has to. There's no way you have this guy on that much of a tear, looking that dominant, and not give him a title, not give him the title, not give him the win. And it's exactly what happened. Once again, it was a solid match. Sami Zayn doesn't have bad matches. Braun looks like a monster.
It was a short and quick match, though.
Right.
Like,
I think it needed to be, though.
It felt like, honestly, I felt almost bad for Sami because it felt like he was just going through the paces. You know what I mean? Like, he was just going through the calls, the shots that were called, boom, 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 laid down and out. And while he pulled on a great, solid performance, it was such a short match that I know we didn't get 100% of what Sami can do. And I think that was just because of the long ending we were getting at the end of SummerSlam.
Well, I also think that it was meant to... that doesn't mean it by any chance or any stretch of the imagination that this is the end of them. But I think this was to go after the loss at the last pay-per-view. This was meant to show Braun's possible dominance, like because he just wiped the floor with them,
right?
And it was crazy because there's nothing is more awe-striking. Like, people could talk about his spear and how good he looks, like, but the way that man hits the ropes, the entire ring shakes.
Yeah.
I have never saw anybody do that since, I believe it was Earthquake, and there's like a 200-pound difference there.
What they say, it was like 23 miles an hour?
Yeah.
Or is it 32 miles an hour?
I don't remember.
I'm dyslexic, I'm getting the number.
Yeah, I don't remember exactly what it is, but man, he hits those ropes like a monster. Mm-hmm. And as being somebody that's been in a ring and hit those ropes, I've hit ropes that were both made of rope and made the ones that are made of cable. And cable is a lot more comfortable. It's not as harsh. It doesn't there's still a possibility of it breaking bones and stuff if you hit it wrong. But rope is so much worse, and he's hitting rope that hard. And like I said, it shakes, it moves the ring. Like, it is impressive. Just watching him bounce off the ropes is impressive. Much less the contact that he gets with that spear. Mm-hmm. And I've heard nobody complain about it. So he's protecting whoever he's hitting. So, kudos to him. Like,
Well, that's what his running start does. It prepares them for it coming, so it allows them time to adjust for the move, to receive the move, But yeah, I agree with you. And the scene up in the stands with both his dad and his uncle, being proud of watching him get the title.
Yeah, that was cool.
That alone, was confusing because I didn't get the math. I'm still behind on my Steiner math. But it was awesome to see.
Yeah, that was.
So I was glad to watch him get his comeuppance in his final title, his title begin.
Yeah.
Though I would have thought it would have been more fitting at WrestleMania for something like that. But hey, SummerSlam is just as good a start as WrestleMania. For,
I mean, it's one of the big
titles.
So,
I'm sure Braun's going to have many titles.
Once again, as we move on later and start talking about the nostalgia of it. It used to be the big four back in the day, where there was only 4 pay-per-views. It was WrestleMania, Survivor Series, SummerSlam, and why can I never remember the 4th one?
Wasn't it the Great American Bash?
No, that's WC. That was WCW. WrestleMania. Or did I already say
You
WrestleMania?
already said WrestleMania.
WrestleMania, SummerSlam, Survivor Series, and another one. It'll pop in my head. Getting old, man. Getting old.
In your house.
Right? No, In Your House that's when they started doing the multiple to fill in for the other months. Wasn't King of the Ring. Yeah, I'm losing my brain on that right now. Anyway,
Next
Royal
up,
Rumble.
Yes, Royal Rumble. Next up was LA Knight versus Logan Paul.
LA Knight won the title. Everybody once again predicted that he would win. It is odd that that Logan Paul would lose in Cleveland Stadium, since he is from Cleveland, and his popularity tends to draw a huge crowd.
Next up, we had
Nia Jackson Bailey.
right.
Yeah, that was so. I have been singing Nia Jax's praise since she came back. She had been doing really, really good. I swear until about this last month and a half, maybe month, where she's starting to fall into some of her old habits again. Where she's getting sloppy, and maybe it's from, I know in an interview that Cody Rhodes had, he had said something about her doing less house shows. And that always brings up the point that I bring about women's wrestling, like in AEW, how they need more time. Like you don't get any better unless you're performing in a crowd. You can perform in a gym all you want. It's not the same as performing in front of a live crowd. And I think them taking her out off of those loops and her not doing as many house shows as she was, because she was doing almost as many house shows from what Cody Rhodes said. She was doing almost as many house shows as he was, which is a tremendous amount, which is good for her. And I think the lack of reps shows because she's getting sloppy. And I won't even call it sloppy as much as it's just you fall back into old habits if you're not working on the good ones anymore.
Right. And her problem is not only is she sloppy, but her sloppiness is visible to the crowd.
Yes.
To the random viewer. It's one thing to be sloppy to us, where we can see it, or notice stuff, because we pay attention to that stuff. But when Joe Schlo observer it can see it and it's obvious, then there's something going on.
Yeah. I like what they're doing with Tiffany Stratton. Nia got the win over Bailey, which obviously I think is going to go into Tiffany and Nia Jax for the title, which is weird because I can't see Tiffany Stratton as a babyface for anybody, and I don't care how hard you try. I don't think anybody's going to like Nia Jax anytime soon. It's going to take some serious work. She needs to get better on promos, and she needs to stop falling in those bad habits. Which, I mean, bad habits come from anybody. Like, I'm not saying anything about her skill or lack of skill or anything like that. It's lack of reps. When people come from the independents or come from smaller organizations, 90% of those people have bad habits that you want to get away from because it doesn't translate as well, especially on WWE TV. When filmed in high definition and 4K, and they're zooming in on this and zooming in on that, because it exposes what you're doing wrong. Like, it's very obvious when certain moves are missed or whatever, because of the way they film.
When I can see Nia Jax gently lowering herself on top of Bailey's chest.
Yeah, well, that's where the mistake's coming in, because there was no gentle about it. She did a senton, or not a senton bomb, a dropping, like she's been dropping directly on people again, and that's a bad habit.
But I had to give it up for Bailey dropping a powerbomb onto Nia Jax.
Yeah.
Bailey did a great job. Bailey was doing her best.
But you
can tell that carrying the weight of Nia Jax around, and I don't just mean physically, but I mean wrestling wise.
Yeah.
Was getting to Bailey. Like, she was exhausted after the match.
The structure of the match was there. Like I said, it's slipping into bad habits, which anybody does when you become. That's the thing. That's why the reps in front of a crowd is always better, because you don't panic. You don't, like, if you get lost, you can, the way moves are called out, they're not called in the ring anymore like they used to. Like, we used to call it in the ring. You'd have certain code words or certain like that, certain sequences you'd say. They're planned out more backstage now than they used to be, and sometimes it's called in the ring still too. But when you know what you're supposed to do, and say you get lost in it, say you're supposed to do, duck down, hip toss, get up, hit the ropes, and you forget the hip toss, and you're like, what do I do? And you just automatically go to the ropes for no reason. It looks dumb because you're like, okay, and it's a habit so many people do. Even people that are in the WWE that have been doing it for years, it's a panic moment. Sometimes you have to go off script. And when you're so young in the business, we have to get past that panic where you can just, okay, well, we messed up on this. And that's what I've always hated, where people will try to do a spot and they mess it up. And so they go to it again.
Right.
That looks horrible. And not saying that happened in this match, but that just goes back to what I mean about bad habits. So.
Well, next up, we had Drew McIntyre, CM Punk, and special guest referee Seth Rollins.
Let's be honest. The biggest thing, what everybody was wondering about, what everybody was hoping for, the one thing about this match that everybody wanted to see was what the hell was Seth Rollins going to wear? Like, commentators are talking, like everybody. It's the only thing that mattered. No, I mean they had it was a solid match. It was what it needed to be. It went down once again. It went down exactly the way I thought it would, the way I thought it needed to be. On top of it, I thought Drew needed to have that big win, because I feel the Drew McIntyre and CM Punk storyline, even though it was cool and it's personal, it's nowhere near what Seth and Punk is going to be. And this is kind of leading its way away from Drew and Punk into Punk and Seth. So I think there'll still be some unfinished business between Punk and Drew still, but now they're going to weed Seth into this and get that storyline going with Seth and Punk. So, I mean, like I said, Punk looked good for coming back after being injured. Yeah, he looked great.
I don't like Punk, sorry.
I mean, hey, the guy's like 46, whatever it is. Coming back from that injury, like that's especially a tricep. That's
I was fully expecting for him to get injured during this match.
Especially wrestling Drew. Drew's not somebody that plays nice,
He's a heavy hitter.
Yeah, he's definitely a heavy hitter. He's definitely snug. But it was an entertaining match. It leaves the door open for what's to come, which I think is a much bigger story.
And they all came out paying homage to, like Seth was dressed like HBK.
Oh yeah, so was the Undertaker Bret Hart match.
Right. McIntyre was dressed as Undertaker, and
Punk was dressed like Bret Hart.
Yeah.
Yeah, the old which is a SummerSlam match where if you don't know, Shawn Michaels goes to hit the Undertaker with the steel chair, and Taker ducks and he hits Bret Hart. So Shawn Michaels, in his little biker shorts, mind you, has to count the pin, and he reluctantly does the 1, 2, 3, and then he rolls out of the ring like all pissed off, which very similar to what happened in this. I thought it was a solid match. Like it's obviously not one of those work rate type match. It's storyline driven. But everybody, I think, did their job. It's what it needed to be. But once again, none of these matches, even the ones that I really enjoyed Sammy and Braun because it was exactly what it needs to be. None of these have that big fight feel.
No. Even this last match, Damian versus this is one of the few matches I enjoyed, even though I think it felt kind of quick to me. But yeah, you saw. What, you want me to give away? Gunther beat the crap out of Damian Priest, and I was excited to see Gunther come on top and win the title. Finally, watching his rise throughout the year, his adaptation of just changing his body and changing his mindset, and still just being as ruthless and as strong as he's always been throughout the whole time. It's just been awesome, and I was glad to see him finally win. However, it was overshadowed by all the inner politics that was happening in the ring between the
Judgment Day.
What was happening with the Judgment Day?
Yeah, that's the thing.
It drowned out his celebration. And I felt bad for
it. It was a solid match. It was a good match, and the crazy thing about this, and this is where I think they kind of missed in the big fight feel, is both these guys have a very similar story, and I'm talking from everything from coming up in the independents to the body transformation. If you look at how Damian Priest used to look back in Ring of Honor, Damian Priest was a big guy. He was chubby, he was flabby, he looked out of shape. Even when he dropped weight, he didn't have like the muscle tone, like he didn't look like he does now, nowhere near. And he was very unsure of himself, which I believe, actually today, I believe he has a biography coming out on 24 on the Peacock.
Yeah.
So they have a very similar story as far as that goes, and I think that's something that you'll get out of a boxing match. You know, they'll tell that story like, you know, something like back in the day when you used to have HBO boxing or whatever. They would do these lead-ins where they talk about like the similarity in their stories. I think they kind of missed that, because I think that could have gave this a bigger fight feel. And then I think, though I understand for storyline purposes, Finn turning on Damian Priest, I get the storyline purposes, but it also took away from the match.
Took away a lot from the match, because I was really enjoying the match until the turn happened, and then when the turn happened, that like it got distracted from the match,
and it got clunky. Like there, it got very clunky. Like it just seemed,
and it was mistimed.
Yeah,
like Finn missed the third count. The referee had to hang for a minute and wait for Finn to interfere. You know, so it was just.
I think that's. I get the turning thing, and I understand, because
it was seriously foreshadowed.
It had to cost him the title, which that's another thing. Like I said, it was very predictable. I get that, but it took away from something actually probably that would have been the best match on the card.
I agree.
So
the next match, I'll tell you, like, I know how formulaic WWE matches can be. I fast forwarded through this match till about the 30-minute mark, and when I got to the 30-minute mark, the match was just starting because of all the entrances and all the lead up. So I fast forwarded again, another 30 minutes.
You know what's hilarious?
And then I got to the match.
You know what's hilarious is I 100% understand where you're coming from, and I agree. But that's exactly what I did on Blood and Guts.
Right. And then
once again, that's where that leads into the big fight field, because too many of these companies are doing that, where it's so.
There's no threat that they're going to win at any point in time during the match.
Right.
There's no fear of that happening.
You know you're going to see every one of the bloodline pop into the match,
right.
And until you see every one of them, yeah.
I fast forwarded. I got to about where I got to see 10 minutes of wrestling, and then everybody started popping up.
Yeah, until and that's the thing. Like, that's my problem with thing. Well, I mean, Blood and Guts is different, because the match doesn't officially start until everybody enters.
Right, until a half hour later. So anyway, yeah. So I decided, I'm like, okay, I don't want to watch all the entrance and all the hoopla and all this other stuff. With all the run-ins, you knew run-ins were going to happen.
Yeah.
So I said, I waited till the run-ins happened, and then I started watching the match.
And once again, it wasn't a great match. Of course, a match like that isn't meant to be great. We saw the returning our KO, Kevin Owens and Randy Orton, which pretty much everybody predicted. And then we saw the return of Roman Reigns, which who cares?
Right.
No, I mean, a lot of people have been really wanting it. So
It's storyline important.
At first, to me, I thought, wow, he hasn't been gone that long. And then I started thinking about it. No, it's been 4 months. So I just apparently don't watch WWE that much, apparently.
When was WrestleMania?
4 months ago. Yeah. So it was a big return. The crowd absolutely loved it. He came out, did the old Superman punch to Solo. Cody did, the crossroads to him, pinned Solo.
About the spear.
Oh yeah, the spear. Yeah, he did the crossroads while pinning Solo while looking dead at Roman. So there's a lot there. Obviously, this is going to lead into a bloodline civil war, which everybody seems to want.
Which they ran the ad for a couple weeks ago. That
I think that was fan made.
Was it?
I think so.
But it came out like a Survivor Series, a Bloodline Survivor Series type deal.
I believe that was fan made. But I think that's where it would happen.
Yeah, I think that's where it's going.
So,
and I don't care. Honestly, it was cool. We saw God in there, right? The Girls of Destruction in there for a minute, which was cool. I'm a big fan of theirs. But we saw what's his name,
Jacob Ford. I don't know. See, there's a lot of speculation on that, and honestly, I'm not curious enough to dwell into it. I'll see how it plays out on TV. Supposedly, it was storyline injury, so that way he wouldn't be in the ring when Roman returns, or he did because on the replay, he hit his ankle right on the corner.
His shin. He banged his shin right on the edge of that table, right when it collapsed. And as a former skater, sympathy pains, brother.
so either it's real or it was storyline. I mean, we'll see how it plays out. Actually, Raw's happening right now, so I wouldn't be watching it anyway. It's on Sci-Fi anyway. I don't get that channel. So... But yeah, that was pretty much. I mean, the matches were good. They furthered a storyline or ended something to lead into other pay-per-views or other stories. Which that's kind of where I'm losing that big fight feel, because I guess it is some of the storylines nothing came to a definitive end as far as storylines, and that's where my lack of the big fight feel comes in, because. Once again, the final four, or the big four, is where, you lead to this big pay-per-view and then boom. And then it's like restarting all new storylines on the smaller pay-per-views and smaller shows. So I guess that's where my disconnect on that is. I mean, all in all, it was a solid show. It was just another pay-per-view, though.
I wasn't too thrilled about it. I mean, I whatever. But in pure opposing wrestling company fashion, AEW was also running Collision at the same time, or immediately after, which is their Saturday night show.
Right.
And to quell any rumors whatsoever, Buddy Matthews showed up on the show, who is currently dating... married to Rhea Ripley. And there were a bunch of rumors while he was out with injury and getting married that he was going to show up on SummerSlam with her and be part of the storyline. But smashed that immediately by showing up on AEW Collision the same night that that was happening. SummerSlam was happening on WWE. So, and there was nothing exciting happening on AEW to keep you wanting to watch it except for the big tag team match at the end.
He also just signed a new contract.
Yeah, he also just signed a new contract.
So, yeah. I haven't watched Collision in I don't know how long. I actually haven't enjoyed Collision since Punk left. It's not the same show as it was. it's the same as Dynamite, and Dynamite like seems to be their A show. So Collision has become just another. It's up there. It's like Rampage, like they're throwaway shows. They're not like you'll get a decent ROH match. Just make it an ROH show then. Like the best match is usually somehow linked to ROH. You know, that's where the tag team thing happened, right? Because I didn't actually watch that one, but that's where with FTR and the Acclaim. Okay,
yeah,
so
and it was a good match.
Yeah,
I mean, it really good. And I'm sorry, but the Beast Mortis is impressing the crap out of me. That man can go, and he can go in that mask.
Yeah, he's always been. Back when he was in AAA and in TNA, he was always impressive. He was part of what was it, Decay with Crazy Steve and Rosemary. When they still, he was still called Black Taurus. That's what I used to get when I used to randomly say Black Taurus. AAA owned the right to that name. That's why he had to change his name. Mm. But yeah, he is a phenomenal wrestler, and he can go with that crazy lucha style. But he can actually go technically too. The guy can wrestle.
Right. He's one of those guys where he trained in the lucha, so he's a good base unit. He's like the big guys you see in a cheerleading squad. Like he can hold the base. He's there to throw the guys around to make it look bigger and stuff, but he's also got the speed to go with it, so he can keep time with them as well. Like, he can fly, he can move just as fast as they can.
Yeah.
And he's got the skill, and, man, the match he and Hologram had, that was great. And tell me, is Hologram TJP or what?
No, Hologram was... I was like Asis or something. Like, he's another Mexican wrestler. He's another luchador. He's from AAA or CMLL. But
I've seen some rumors that it might be TJP.
No.
He's a little darker.
Yeah, and covered in tattoos.
TJP?
Yeah.
Is he?
Yeah, he has the whole LA skyline right here tattooed on his arm.
I haven't seen TJP in a minute since 205.
He's in he's in TNA kind of on and off, but he's mostly in New Japan. But yeah, he's still but yeah, he's heavily tatted now. But Hologram is somebody that, I mean, they're hyping him big, and I that's one thing that I think AEW needs to go with. Quit pushing these older guys and build your own stars. I get it. The name value and everything, it is good to have those people in there, right. But you also need to build these younger guys at the same time. So hopefully we'll get some like that. I just need, like I said, a video game on exhibition mode only goes so far. Like, I need reasons that these people are fighting. Give me, like, I don't care. Give them good promos. Give me that much. Give me something. Rather than just like, that's where I'm pretty, like, what happened with the Acclaimed and FTR at the end, that's intriguing to me.
Right.
It's not super deep in storyline. It's not
and
all
they
this.
Didn't get over it, right?
Yeah,
right
it's
away,
it's not all this. It's not all this unnecessary backstage vignettes and stuff. It's them face to face in the ring, saying stuff, and that's good enough.
With a good mix of young and old,
right?
All in there involved. Like, yeah.
And is Mark Briscoe not the freaking superstar of AEW?
How is he not exhausted? Like, the man just had a baby. And he's on every show that they put on and the house shows. And he's all over the damn place.
And he's the best thing on their television, personality-wise.
He gives the best promo. Him and Kyle O'Reilly.
Oh, they're hilarious together.
The comedy duo match of, I mean, jeez.
And I'm not a big comedy and wrestling guy, but it's like that underlying comedy where, like, Kyle's being low key while Mark's being Mark.
When Mark gave Kyle the title belt and Kyle was cradling it like a baby, and then Mark went and got a real baby. And he grabbed it up, and Kyle's in the back like, woo, coochie coo.
Yeah, it's
that had me falling out, man.
They are. What is it? The conglomeration.
The conglomeration.
They are pretty good together. They make for really good TV. Yeah. So that's one of the highlights of. I mean, there's some really good wrestling and stuff that happens, but it's overshadowed by the fact that there's not enough reasons for them to go. And when they do try to do it with promos in the ring, some of these guys just aren't there talking wise.
Right.
So AEW needs to either start scripting out their promos or start using managers.
Better managers.
Yeah.
Because Stokely's got to go.
Stokely's not even really a manager.
Stokely has got to go.
A real man. Prince Nana's a real manager.
Prince Nana's awesome.
Yes, Prince Nana is.
What's his name?
And it hasn't been utilized much in AEW, but Prince Nana can talk. I've been watching him since his Ring of Honor years. Prince Nana is good.
Alejandro's good.
Oh,
Hype Man.
Yeah,
he's great.
You're talking about what is his name?
Fuentes, something like
yeah,
that.
whatever.
Whoever Ray Phoenix and set him out.
Well, he's also a commentator, so the man knows how to talk.
Yeah, he's and
he's funny,
and he's active.
He is extremely active, but my whole point with that and what I was talking about the nostalgia feel is, the first SummerSlam, I still remember it. I still remember what the first main event was, which was the Mega Powers versus the Mega Bucks. So it was Macho Man and Hogan versus Andre and Ted DiBiase.
Ted DiBiase, yeah.
Now, the rest of the card was meh. I mean, it was I think it was. I looked it up earlier today. It was Brutus Beefcake and Honky Tonk Man, and there was Jimmy Snuka and the Iron Sheik, and the Hart Foundation versus the Orient Express. None of that undercard is really that entertaining, but that big fight feel in that main event is tremendous. And I remember seeing those posters. You saw those posters everywhere with Macho and Hogan together. Yeah, I mean,
with Miss Elizabeth in the middle.
Yeah, I mean, you couldn't match that. And then the next year you had what was the main event in the second year was I know that's where the Ultimate Warrior lost his Intercontinental title to Rick Rude. So it was Hogan versus, was that Hogan and Earthquake? No, that was 90. But I mean, just those, and it's not just because it's like Hogan or whatever. It's just the way they build, because they build like the undercard didn't matter. That main event was that huge fight field, like a boxing match.
Right.
If you watch the old boxing back in the the 80s, or even watch a boxing movie, all you ever hear about is the main event, and then there's the people referred to as subject managed or subject whatever to change.
Card subject.
Yeah, that's the word. Card subject to change. Because it didn't matter. The undercard never matters. Like a big, if you're watching a Tyson fight back in the day, all anybody cared about was Tyson. The undercard didn't matter.
Right.
And
Even though the undercard would last longer,
right, and be a lot more entertaining boxing too. And if you think WrestleMania 3, the one match that, even though it was Hogan and Andre, the one match everybody talks about is Macho Man and Steamboat. Right. That was in the undercard, but that big fight feel for Andre and Hogan was just tremendous, and I think that's what wrestling is missing now, and I think it's going to lose even more of that, especially with TKO owning the WWE, because TKO with the UFC they sell the full card. You don't get like the UFC back that they used to have when like Rampage Jackson or any of those guys were there. Where you hear the big name. Now you're selling the whole card. Everybody's a superstar.
One of the 7 Samurai?
Rampage Jackson?
Did you see that? There's a new movie called Snow White and the 7 Samurai.
Oh, it's Rampage?
With Rampage Jackson in it.
I have that movie. I haven't watched it yet.
You should check it out.
Oh, I'm going to.
Just on the name alone.
It's called Snow White and the Seven Samurai.
Snow White and the 7 Samurai. Come on.
But That's what I think that everybody's missing now. And I think, and maybe it's in all sports where they want everybody to be a superstar, everybody to be recognizable or a name. They're taking away that mystique, and it doesn't feel the same.
I think it's honestly, I think it's partially kind of you.
Maybe.
Because, I mean, look at the audiences in these events. Because there's tons of audiences. They're all behind it. They're all hyped up. They're obviously loving the fact that they can get together. There's tons of bars out there that are doing this gathering stuff, you know. So maybe it's just in our age, we're just not in that mind frame anymore. Maybe we just don't have any investment in what's being on the show.
There's a possibility of that, too. Because
they're not doing a good job of hooking us older audiences.
We might be salty old people, but as somebody that worked at bars that would highlight like show things like that, right. I watched as the years go how the attendance would drop for specialized events. I know places that still show like UFC fights, even ones that will show wrestling pay-per-views where they used to charge entry fees. Right. Now it's free, and now you're getting specials when they would never have that.
Well, look at how it's being presented, though. Like, look, you can go to all these different towns, and that event in that town is special. However,
right.
when you're streaming these events for $10 a month, $20 a month, at any bar where you can go for free, when you're showing these events, pay-per-views now are literally once a week.
Maybe that's what it is, too.
And it's oversaturation.
That's oversaturation, overexposure.
It's not as special anymore. So why am I going to get together every weekend to come over to your house and eat wings and get fatter? You know what I mean? When I can just do it at home.
Yeah, that definitely there is that oversaturation.
So there has to be like that specialty event that we need to make ourselves special, so that we can have that feel again.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, WrestleMania
right now for me, All In has that feeling. I feel like that with All In. I'm super excited with that. I want to get a big group gathering together so we can do it all.
I'm 50-50 on it right now, but I mean the card's still forming. So I mean,
yeah, absolutely.
So I mean, I'm excited for certain matches for sure. But yeah, no, I think All In will definitely have that.
Swear Bryan Danielson, I got to see it. And we pretty much know Danielson will probably just retire after this match. But I still want to see it. Still want to see what happens. The Ospreay match.
Is it wrestling MJF, right?
Yeah. And MJF versus Kyle Fletcher this week. I want to see that too.
Yeah, Kyle Fletcher is so good. That kid is coming. He is coming along so well. I'm a huge AEW fan, and I find it hard to get excited for a lot of things just because, like I said, they're not giving me a reason. Certain matches, there are certain matches. Obviously, the Danielson Swerve one. Obviously, MJF and Ospreay is the most driven match there is. There's Britt and Mercedes, too. That's up there. So I mean. If
the rumors about Britt are not true.
Well, I mean, if the rumors are true, she's only suspended for 2 weeks. So the pay-per-view's further away. That just, I mean,
right.
She's, because of the almost having the stroke and everything, she was gone for months. Her missing 2 weeks isn't going to be that big of a and then you have...
I'm pulling up the match list right now.
The ones that have already been announced. Oh, there's Darby and Jack Perry, right? Isn't that going to be on that for the TNT title?
I believe so.
For one of the 1,000 titles that they have there.
I believe so. Hold on, I'm pulling it up. Keep talking.
But like I said, the thing I liked back in the day was the nostalgia, the big fight feel. I did like that. And maybe it is oversaturation. Maybe part of it is being older and just not being as into it as I used to be. Maybe it's a combination of the things,
Yeah, well, so. Toni Storm versus Mariah May. I'm very excited for this because Toni Storm can go, and Mariah May has proven to me to be.
Mariah May can go.
Yeah,
she's good.
Mercedes went in. Britt Baker. TBS Championship. MJF and Will Ospreay. The first match they did was phenomenal. I'm excited for the next one. Yeah, you're right. Jack Perry versus Darby Allin. I think that'll be awesome.
Anything
it'll be bloody.
anything with Darby is good. Darby is so good. He needs to sometimes be saved from himself. I don't want him to I don't want him to, especially so young. I don't want him to injure himself where his career ends early. But hey, if I imagine, like he said, if that happens, he went out his way. So kudos to him. He's living his life the way he wants to.
And that's all that's announced right now. But I know that
Danielson and Swerve.
I already said that.
Oh.
I know that Okada is going to come in and have a big match to defend his title at some point. I don't know against who. And I know that the Bucks are...
they're probably going to end up... Well,
whoever wins the FTR...
that's the thing that sucks is I'm a big FTR fan, but it has to be the Acclaimed.
Yeah, I'm tired of... I love the FTR, man. They're phenomenal. But I'm tired of seeing them with the belt.
I'm tired of seeing them wrestle the Bucks.
Yeah.
I'm tired of seeing the Bucks.
Please, Bucks, go away.
I just want them to present themselves differently. And obviously Jericho's going to be involved in something.
Something stupid. I hope it's Taz.
Nah, Taz doesn't have...
I know, I'm just saying. A dream match would be Taz, but it's going to be Hook or something. Dream match Taz, dream match McGuinness versus Danielson one last time. Well,
that's obviously not going to happen if he's wrestling Swerve.
I'm just saying dream match.
Oh yeah.
Maybe it All Out.
Nigel needs a goodbye match. Nigel is such an underrated wrestler.
That would be the best goodbye match for both of them.
As big as, and I am admittedly a huge CM Punk fan. I'm a huge Roderick Strong fan. I'm a huge Samoa Joe fan. I'm a huge Tyler Black fan. Like, I can go down the list of all the... I'm a very big Jay Briscoe fan. I can go down the list of all the ROH world champions of the past. My favorite all time is Nigel McGuinness. He was just... it's so sad the man never got to perform on the level of the WWE. We did see a little bit in TNA. He did have a kind of a... When he was... what was his name? Damon something. When he had that feud going against Kurt Angle. We got to see hints of it, but that's also when he got disqualified from wrestling because of the hepatitis. So we didn't get to see him to his fullest potential. And that sucks. Like, it really does. And if you ever saw his documentary, not the one, the WWF did a pretty good, or WWE did a good one on him, but he also put one, it's called Last of the McGuinness. It was self-funded. Actually, it was the first time I ever heard of Kickstarter. It was funded through Kickstarter, and he hired a film crew, put it out himself, and it was basically his farewell tour, and he gets pretty deep, pretty emotional on there about how empty he feels and how much is missing, like, because he didn't get to perform with the WWE. Mm-hmm. And he said a lot of that's gone now. I think ever since he had a kid, he doesn't have that empty feeling anymore. So, I mean, kudos to him.
Teaching his kid to take his place?
He's got a baby. She's got a little one.
So that means yes.
So, I mean...
Pin you, baby. Pin you.
I would love to see a farewell match for him. That would be awesome. Like I said, he's one of my favorite. And he's an amazing commentator. So,
yeah.
But that's pretty much, what do you have coming up here, AJ?
Well, this weekend being, what is this weekend, the 10th?
Yes, I believe so. Today's the 5th, or today's the 5th, so let's say Monday.
Is it Monday? Is it really Monday?
It is really Monday. So, yeah, 10th, 11th.
Saturday, August 10th, in Ukaipa, there's an event going on called Wicked Fest, and it's being put on by, give me 1 second, I will tell you all the information.
Is it Wicked?
You say that, and all of a sudden I've got corn in my head.
Is it wicked and is it festy?
Am I wicked?
I think of Insane Clown Posse.
It is a Halloween event being put on in Yucaipa at the Yucaipa Performing Arts Center from 1 p.m. to 9 p.m. this weekend. And it's kind of like an array of Halloween-themed items to connect fellow enthusiasts in a lively, festive atmosphere. This is from their website. It's the ideal place to kickstart your spooky season preparations. Come on down. They're supposed to have all kinds of cool stuff, cosplay contests, all that stuff. It's in the parking lot of the White Pack in Yucaipa, California. 1 to 9, free parking, free admission, free. And just come out and check it out. It should be fun. It's being hosted by the Dark Side of the IE. I believe it's one of their newer events. Dark Side of the IE is a father and daughter team, and they like to investigate hauntings and horror conventions and movies and whatnot on their site.
Nice. Are they on? They have a website or social media?
It's called the Dark Side of the IE. They can be found on Instagram and on Facebook. We are starting to work with collaboration with them, so you'll probably see some more stuff by them on our site as well. Hopefully we'll get them on here to be interviewed and stuff. But we'll be out there on Saturday walking around, sweating and crying and watching all the goth makeup melt. We invite you guys to come join us.
Definitely a lot of crying.
And see us and see everybody else that's out there. It should be, hot, melty fun. Sorry, it's 105 out today.
I'm going to use that line.
Hot, melty fun.
Yes.
You're welcome.
Sounds like reading the back of a videotape. So, you said you're going to start working in them. You're going to start seeing a lot more of the stuff in collaboration on your website. So, once again, AJ, what is your website?
Well, you don't ask me questions when I got things in my mouth.
It's when you speak the list. Swallow. What's your website? I mean, I'm probably just going to put it right there anyway, but not there.
ForbiddenPanel.com. Some of you might be on the website right now watching this from
this
that website.
Very moment.
At this very ForbiddenPanel.com. Please come check us out. We have a bunch of cool stuff up there, including art and columns and
who's
writing
art?
And stuff. And I don't know. People. What the hell, dude? Your art.
No, I don't mean who's the artist. I mean who's art.
And
why is he up on your website? Poor guy.
I don't know. Because he brings me tacos.
Is he locked? Is he locked in the internet?
Yeah.
Well, that'll do it for us this week. It's a lot more of us babbling about nothing.
One thing I do want to shout out real quick on Wednesday, August 7th. Everybody needs to head over, find our artist Justin White. He helped me create Zombie Kill Squad. He helped my dreams come true with the comic book art, and he's been there for all of us since the beginning. It's his birthday. He'll be, I think he's like 72 or something like that. I don't know. He's really old, people, but if you can go over and tell his arthritic self happy birthday. He needs a new walker. Maybe pick one up for him.
Make sure to send this clip directly to him.
And just tell him, happy birthday, old man. I hope you feel better. Hope, you get some new Depends. Wow. That the colostomy bag is, form-fitting and keeps you warm at night.
Isn't he younger than you?
No, he's very old. Very old. In fact, I'm being polite by saying 72. I just don't want to give away his real age. He's like Dorian Gray. If you know his real age, he just starts actually aging like that, and it's just bad. It's just really bad. So, happy birthday, old man. We all love you over here as much as you can love Dust.
I thought he was just morphing into Alan Moore.
Well, he would be, but... Anyway. Happy birthday, Justin White. You old fart.
All right. Well, that does it for us this week. Once again, I'm Richard from Chaos Collectibles. This is AJ of Forbidden Panel. Thanks for joining us. Keep it classy. There's something fall out there.